A good map, though, is Daybreak, and that's actually the map we're on right now. Daybreak features a little bit longer rush distances, but on top of that, it gives you the chance to take your third. That's the most important thing. You can take your third and really, really gun for that, seeing as you have like this little narrow area. Now, of course, the destructible debris can be taken out, but still you have a ramp to actually defend against this wide area. And you have also like a cramped area that you can put good Sim City, position all of your units right here, and then go back and forth and try to defend everything. We'll see. I'm most likely going to be seeing that with NightEnD and Stephano, but let's introduce our players right now, Ferdinand.
In the top right, getting good wishes and lucks, we have NightEnD from Team Fnatic, the Red Protoss, currently training in Korea and trying to put his skills to the test against this Zerg in the bottom left corner from Team Millennium. One of the Foreigner hopes, to some, to many, the Foreigner hope. It is Stephano, Ilya Satori, who has played phenomenally and just given a matchup a whole new meaning, just because of how he's been able to really react to Protoss going for Forge first. Now, Daybreak is a different map, Andre.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about the implications of what NightEnD might be thinking on this map. Does he want to punish Stephano's 3-hatch? It's very easy to do that if you try to go for 2-base timing, but Stephano's been really good at defending it.
Yeah, I don't think Stephano's really a player that you punish.
So then does NightEnD want to go for that fast third again? Maybe in a better position to defend back and forth?
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that being a lot better, in my opinion, than trying to trying to punish Stephano.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most frustrating things in the world. You know, trying to attack Stephano. I think Huangson was saying this. It's like every time I attack Stephano, I think I'm in a great position. Somehow or another, he just ekes out some sort of advantage and gets ahead. And you know, I don't know how he does it sometimes. He's just a mastermind at this positioning.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what Stephano is able to do, just survive from any position, usually. I mean, it's not to say that he's not unkillable. We've seen Stephano lose, even in NASL, especially when we were seeing him play against Zenyo. That series was phenomenal. But Stephano is going to go for his third hatchery. Now, what's interesting is that NightEnD hasn't really tried to stall it, and Stephano playing so greedy with only 2 Lings. It would take a long time for that pollen to drop. So NightEnD not really opting to stall whatsoever, really wants to just play straight up macro. And I guess we'll have to see what his plan unfolds when he starts to reveal what he's going to do with his gas.
Okay, I'm going to say something really quickly. I'm sorry, everybody. I messed up. I don't know
where you're going with this.
I know. No.
Is this like
you
a
don't
really
know.
serious thing?
Yeah, this is a really serious thing.
Okay.
I actually turned on a stream in the background during the break just to check it out, and it's playing in the background. I got to just alt-tab that real quick. Okay, it's gone. We're good. Sorry, I heard SCV is ready. Dude, I make sure I'm on top of everything, man. I'm on Reddit. I'm on
You're on multiple Reddits, man. Yeah. Sorry, Andre. Hey, man, you're logging 20 games a day.
Hey, that's how you know it's
really
live.
True.
Yeah, man.
It's also how you know it's live. But yeah, for the record, you know, everyone here, we play a lot. Andre plays 20 games a day. I've been working on playing at least 15. And that's why we really believe that we understand.
I like how you're like, oh yeah, Andre plays 20 games a day. This is the first day I ever did that. He's like, oh yeah, every day, ever since MLG.
It's like the guy that after New Year's is like, yeah, man, I haven't done this all year. Or like, I don't know, just like the guy that just thinks he's such a wisecrack.
Like, I've been to the gym every single day this year.
Oh my God, it's so bad to go to the gym in the beginning of January because everyone's so motivated. Just like everyone might be motivated at the beginning of a season, but really it just takes a while before everyone falls off. But you know what? It's okay because you know who hasn't fallen off over time? Stephano. He's been playing his style to perfection for so long. You can see just droning up non-stop, keeping his injects up. Now, what's interesting again is that NightEnd's opening very similar to the game number 1. Quick robo after the gate with a +1 in supplementation. No third gases or fourth gas.
Yeah, that's really weird. Normally, you get your third and fourth gas super early. I think this actually affects NightEnd quite substantially. This is probably a good, I would say, 2 sentries that it could have had. which could be, let's say, 4 force fields going down further into the line when aggression really starts up. That's pretty critical, because if he wants to go a very fast third base, he will have a little bit more trouble defending that. I'm actually a little bit worried for NightEnD. I think just because of that, you know, the onslaught of units that comes from Stephano every single time when he's against a super fast third base, that is going to do a lot more damage this time around. Well, as he always does. I shouldn't even say this time around.
Stephano did get up his buildings a little bit quicker this game, in the mid 6 minutes, just so he can squeeze out a couple more units. But again, it is Daybreak, a map that you can't necessarily trust what you see because there's 2 avenues of attack. You can see double observers are out for NightEnD as well. So it's just interesting because normally you see Protoss try to prioritize their Immortals with their Robo, but with 2 observers out, NightEnD really mixing it up a little bit, tweaking his build. I
think that's why Stephano's a little bit suspicious. Not only the 3rd and 4th gas have been delayed, but as you said, no Immortals out, and he sees very fast observers. Once you see fast observers, you're like, okay, what can my opponent be doing? Getting super fast observers, whether it be 1 or 2, and then directly after that, not taking a 3rd. It is very suspicious. And look at this, NightEnD is going to take, as you said, the 9-minute expansion, but even this I feel is a little off-timed. It's hard to tell though. NightEnD, I mean, is definitely a player that's just like, well, I don't want to take that 5% or 10% efficiency. I want to just make sure that I'm playing my build, and I can do it.
Stephano knows his opponent's going for 3rd, was trying to bait a couple force fields, but NightEnD would not bite. Now what's interesting is that Stephano last game hit at a timing where Protoss actually wasn't that used to it. He hit around 10:30. And, you know, Protoss is usually to that 12-minute max. They're like, okay, so maybe I have a minute and a half to pump out as many units as I can. And Stephano's usually maxed at that point. Stephano decided to move in a little bit earlier, and NightEnD only had a couple Immortals and things were caught out of rally. So that was also a really interesting variation from Stephano. But look at this. We don't see Roaches. We see Lings and Infestor with double Evo Chamber, Andre.
I love this style. I love any form of very fast infestation pit styles, man.
A fast Spire, and Stephano is going to be mixing it up and going for a Spire switch. Now, of course, NightEnD with his observers will see this as long as he pays attention to the observer. And yes, he sees everything. I
don't know if it's going to actually be a Spire switch. It might be just to defend against any potential Colossus. I feel like Muta switches after investing so heavily into your ground and then into Infestors is kind of off. You need to really, really start upgrading your Spire as fast as possible, because by that time you've delayed it by, you know, a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes when it normally should have been. And, you know, obviously they won't do nearly as much damage to 2-0 or even 3-0 Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, don't be fooled if you see Protoss taking a 3rd. They usually do tech also behind that, even if they are afraid of timing. So great read from Stephano to get that Spire up just for insurance. Now he's also keeping tabs on his opponent's army with an observer over those Infestors, and this is going to be really key if NightEnD wants to drop it. Look at that. NightEnD perfectly placing his force fields, really trying to ensure that he can have enough time. Stephano, I guess for now, will have to wait for another 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. He's waiting for the Colossus. I'm trying to look at what NightEnD was actually waiting for. But here we go. The Zerglings will move on ahead.
Oh,
great force field.
Catch. And those Zerglings are going to just absolutely die. Yeah, there it is.
And there's nothing that can actually happen. Now, Corruptors are going to start up here. And the main thing Stephano does not want to give up is his position. Having all these units in NightEnd's side of the map is actually very beneficial, because it allows him to actually have that retaliation. So first, NightEnD has to fight for the middle of the map, for position, for his army to be in a good spot, and then he has to fight again just to attack his opponent, who is already on 4 bases.
Yeah, Stephano now is getting for his Hive and trying to see if he can go for tier 3 really quickly, and more Zergs have been comfortable getting Hive at a really fast time, getting it by 15, 16, 17 minutes. And now NightEnd's going to move out. Does he know that Hive timing? He doesn't, but coincidentally enough, it's a very good time for him to push out.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that Stephano gave up all this position after I just talked about it. So obviously NightEnd has the ability to now go take beautiful position, probably take a 4th base. I would actually say taking or attacking from here would be kind of suspect. as it doesn't really gear up for any particular timing. I think it's when your opponent is strongest. Remember I said Zerg is pretty strong at this mid-game stage when their lair tech has been exhausted like crazy. So you actually want to outlast that and then fight from there. But here we go.
And NightEnD does have some pretty decent sentry energy, reinforcing with Stalkers. His upgrades is +2, but with +2/+2 about to finish for Stephano, this could be a perfect time. Fungals on the Colossi, and the Corruptors will now be able to target him down really quickly, and with no AoE, it's going to be really tough for NightEnD to hold it unless he has great blink, but the Fungals are keeping them in place, and the Stalkers are dropping extremely quickly. The Immortal Shields have been immediately drained because of the Fungals as well, and Stephano has a huge amount of supply dedicated to Zergling reinforcements. 72 on the way, and that is because there are only Stalkers left after NightEnD has pretty much lost all of his tech-heavy units.
Yep, very nice engagement for Stephano, and now he's going to come in with another additional round of units. The blink back is forced. It looks like NightEnD will retain his units, but think, if he just did that same thing but just backed off and had a fourth already being made, that would have been so much better. I think the investment into that attack was not the optimal choice. He could have, I mean, still, he did get a good trade in my opinion. He killed a ton of units and it forces Stephano to snap call, make another round of units, whether it be Zerglings or Roaches, but I don't think he has anything of, you know, power to actually to actually follow this up. He doesn't have High Templars, he doesn't have Archons, he doesn't have like an alarming amount of gateways. He was trying to finesse it the whole time, and basically he got finessed. These Corruptor counts have been exquisite. It's the perfect amount, I think, and he's been able to really outdo his opponent composition-wise.
And then was trying to force himself in a strong position where he can keep his Colossus alive through the hallway. It's a very difficult area if you can just keep the Colossus in the center and have your Stalkers blink accordingly, but great catches with the Fungals. Stephano landed amazing Fungals on Marine King, I believe, in MLG, and showing great control this time around.
Oh my god.
Look at Stephano also just able to catch, you know, these pawns and everything everywhere. NightEnD.
Sorry, I wasn't saying that to the pylons. I was saying it.
You were like, I was like, okay, I guess I better follow up Andres.
I have these. I'm not even gonna say it. I have these intimate moments for pylons dying. No, it's the Marine King Fungals.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane, man.
Okay, yeah,
I was just thinking back to.
I was like, oh man, that pylon.
Damn, that pylon really gets going. Anyway, it is Mass Stalker. I mean, this is kind of a weird composition, Stalkers and Colossus. Normally it's meant for, you know, the lair tech type of compositions.
Yeah, it's before you're able to get that hive tech, which is what Stephano has at this point. He's got Broodlords done with +3/+3. It's going to make it incredibly difficult for him to do any kind of movements unless he catches Stephano off guard, which is rarely the case. Stephano always seems to be on top of it. And yeah, I'm on his camera right now. He's never letting go of his opponent out of his sight.
Yeah, let's see if this does anything right now, as a blink forward is very difficult. It's like there's Fungals, there's a lot of Zerglings and Roaches that just tear apart your units. 3-3 is just about to finish, whereas NightEnD is only a 2-0. You know, this is just not going well for NightEnD, as Stephano is just readying additional Broodlords and starting to do his trades with Zerglings onto, of course, Broodlords.
Stephano has a pack of Zerglings in the bottom right, encasing a set for a flank. Also a pack from the north, trying to really pull his opponent back and forth, but he does manage to get into the third area. And that's a lot of probes, actually, that will die. Great catch from Stephano. How's not going to respond? His Stalker's out of position in the north and also takes a lot of damage. And the Zerglings are pulling every way forward. This is looking very reminiscent of his games in MLG, where he just really forced the Protoss to multitask. NightEnD does clean up the Roaches in the north, but again, losing a lot of economy because these Zerglings.
I don't mind this as much if NightEnD wants to do this momentum swing. He wants to actually trade out probes for a ton of units and then hopefully win the battle very, very outright and then continue on just killing Stephano's production. Although this is Stephano, so I don't know if that's even possible. A bunch of infestors are being made right now, 9 total. NightEnD is actually pretty slow to remax. It's kind of unfortunate. I think NightEnD is put in a really difficult spot because it basically says, with all those probe kills, come at me because you don't have a lot of options coming up right now.
Well, I mean, NightEnd's been pretty stubborn. No Stargate, you know, and no sign of incorporating Templar, just staying on these gateways and that one robotics. I mean, if you're going to have that robotics, you can at least drop another one, but he really just wants to stay on these 2 Colossus, which of course isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. You just really need to take care of the Lings and the Zerglings with the Colossus, but at the same time, it's just that he doesn't control space as well, and he has to be really cautious. Sometimes we see, the High Templars to feedback, or at least some way to deal with the Infestors with Vortex, but NightEnD being very resilient on staying on only Stalkers might end up hurting him.
Oh, great positioning with his Broodlords, might I add. Nope, he groups them all together now. I was going to say, like, having them spread out is really good. Yeah. Infested Terran's going to be popped out right now.
He's not sure if his opponent has a Mothership, but I think now it's safe to assume because there's nothing cloaked at the 4th base.
Yeah, and Mothership is how you actually defeat this. It's very difficult to actually deal with just Stalkers. There's the big blink up.
Ooh.
He will one-shot a lot. Whoa! Stalkers coming from both sides, but Fungal is going to keep everything in place. Look at those Fungals, Frodo, and now the blink up on top of those Broodlords, but there are just so many Broodlings out on the field. Look at how fast the Stalkers evaporate from the field. Absolutely beautiful job. GG, well played, gets called out. NightEnD will fall yet again. A 2-0 victory for Stephano. Beautiful.
And Stephano just playing late game ZVP control to perfection. Again, what made it so impressive was the reaction time. I was on his, by the way, I was on his vision the entire time. I was watching kind of what NightEnD was doing, but I was looking at Stephano's screen, and as soon as the Stalkers blinked forward, catch all of them in Fungals, and the Broodlords was able to work. And what was impressive was he also targeted some of the Stalkers in the middle of the pack, so the Brilliants can work that way from the inside out. And so, Stephano, these small little things he does is just so impressive. And let's take a look at the big battle once again. As you can see, NightEnD was trying to go for a huge flank, but immediately, bam, bam, Fungals everywhere, and the Broodlords were able to attack. And at this point, there was almost nothing he can really do. Stephano originally targeted the second line of Stalkers, really, which was fantastic engagement for a Zerg player.
And look at this. A lot of times people forget to get Corruptors to take out the Colossus, but Stephano didn't. He made sure Corruptors were still on the field. You take out the Colossus and you empower the Broodlings so much, and that's what really stood out in my mind. So brilliant play by Stephano, as always.
Fantastic.
And he will take the win yet again, pushing him up further and solidifying his spot in the NASL.
We want to thank Twitch.tv for partnering with NASL and helping us to get everything along, just with the stream and, having the staff in chat. I was hanging out with Gunrun this past weekend. What was, what's really funny is that Gunrun has a mobile hotspot that carries around with him. So I had my Gunrun radar on at all times by telling how strong the signal was. Because I can look on my iPad and be like, oh, Gunrun is 3 bars away versus 2 bars away. And make sure Gunrun's always close. Thanks, Twitch TV, for everything you do with NASL.